to the Nerdiverse. Go ahead, sit and listen to the masters, the old heads, talk about what you love the most. Video games, comics, movies, and everything you need to maintain your week. Got the knowledge that's straight out the ether. Gonna need a drink and have to take a seat to expand your mind and listen to the speaker. Mike and the squad's gonna give you what you need. Please send in a question, come and get some answers, learn a couple lessons from the masters with the special guests. We got the Green Lanterns glowing on their chest. Yes, please sit back and relax, cause we're gonna hit you with them stone cold facts. And allow me to be the very first to welcome you to the masters of the Nerdiverse. Welcome to the Masters of the Nerdiverse podcast, where we always have such sights to show you. This new era fitted of a podcast can be found on iTunes, Stitcher, Spreaker, SoundCloud, YouTube, iHeartRadio, Google Play, and Spotify. I'm, of course, your host, Mike G, and back with me, as always, is the also host, the Silver Surfer to my large like Galactus, is Ozzy Austin. What's going on, Austin?
Bop, 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 bop. Doing good. How about you, bud?
I'm doing well. Why was I serenaded with such a trumpetous?
Because at this point, Winter's phone would have gone off, so I had to recreate the timeline, essentially.
Thank you. You have to maintain the timeline. But but you have to understand, this is Chrono Trigger, so the timeline will always refuse to change.
Jesus. I do not want to live in the Chrono Trigger world. That's a nightmare.
Dude, no, man, just don't be in the action. You'll be fine. Be in that weird village that Chrono's from. You'll be fine.
Just be in the generic, JRPG hero storyline village.
Yeah, just be in the Shire. Just don't stay in the Shire.
You know? Villager number 1, you will die in 5 minutes.
You will die in 5 minutes because there's a giant meteor with a face on it coming towards your town.
Hello, protagonist with purple hair. How are you today? I am fine. I am a farmer.
Fine. I am a 60-year-old farmer with 8 abs.
Got it. God, if I saw a farmer with 8 abs, I would be freaking terrified.
Would it freak you out if you were going to the store and you literally saw a real life protagonist? You know, am I the NPC in this real life world? You just saw some dude. He was 15, but he was built like Captain America, and he had a sword on his back or something.
Oh Jesus!
You're wait, what?
That would be terrifying. Yes.
Am I an NPC in a video game? That is a Black Mirror episode, dude. You realize you're an NPC. You're not.
That's a.
You know,
is that the premise of that next Ryan Reynolds movie?
Yeah, he is an NPC in some video game, but he gains sentience and he starts doing his own thing because he steals, I think, the PlayStation View. He steals the PlayStation 3D,
the
headset, sunglasses, and gains the Paul Wall. You know, which is how the Matrix starts. You know, as humans marveled in their own magnificence. You know what I mean? That's how Bugsnax is gonna go.
Oh God, that creepy vor assimilation flesh game.
The one bug you don't eat will become your antithesis for the entire game.
Horrifying.
Leave none alive. Never leave. That's what Genghis Khan used to do. Leave none alive because just in case. That one dog you left is gonna amass an army to overthrow you 20 years in the future when you're old and whack.
Okay, so what is today's agenda, Mike?
I don't know.
Are we just going to devolve further and further into this rabbit hole?
As you can see, I'm slowly slipping into insanity. So let's go ahead.
We did this in the morning, so you could get some coffee, man, and just wake up. What's going on here,
dude? All I've had for this morning was a mozzarella stick with prosciutto wrapped around it, and I'm powered up. That's all I ever need. And 3 swallows of Brisk brand fruit punch. No caffeine yet. But that'll be solved directly after this podcast. As you can see, I don't need it because I'm high on life.
Caffeine is how I support my bowel movements.
Yeah, man. You keep them loosey-goosey, dog. Never stoppy-woppy.
Oh, I don't like these words.
Outside of your bowel movements, how was your week?
Oh, Christ. I'm doing good. Usual stress of doing school and work and life stuff at the same time, but that's a given, honestly.
Yep.
Besides that, I've been playing a whole hell of a lot of Fire Emblem again on the Switch.
Yeah.
That game is very much worth it, especially in New Game Plus.
Very much, huh? Are you talking about Three Houses?
Yes.
Yeah, very good.
Because honestly, New Game Plus gives you a lot of benefits. Like you get to carry over a lot of stats and benefits, skill bonuses, things like that.
Dude.
Super worth it. It's not as, how do I put this? It's not as waifu cringy as the last few games on 3DS were.
Oh, that's good. There's a balance, right?
I think I played the last game, which was Fates or something like that on the Switch. And they had a mechanic where you could blow steam gently off of your life partner by blowing into the Nintendo 3DS's microphone. And it was weird. And I put it down. I did not pick it back up afterwards.
That is Tecmo Dead or Alive levels of cringe, where it's like, maybe there's one guy in the office. Maybe we should tone this down, and then you just throw him out of a 10-story window, like RoboCop.
Or like whenever you have just make a pocket dimension for your kid to grow up in between units. Literally, a mechanic in that last 3DS game, that Fire Emblem 3DS game, was you get these units together, they love each other, they go to a demiplane, have a kid, leave, and pick the kid back up in like a week's time, but in the kid's extremely fast timeline of the demiplane, it's like been 18 years.
Isn't that just Dizzy from Guilty Gear?
A little bit.
Yeah.
It's really
It's kind of really messed up, dude.
It's super fucked up.
That's some boss, like, born on the battlefield Metal Gear shit, dude.
Like, the game before that, Awakening, it made sense because these kids came from the past because all of their parents were basically dead and they wanted to make sure their parents lived so they could establish relationships with those parents. That makes sense because that's actually like more tragic. But for this one, it's, lol, have a kid. Cool, you have another unit now. Go kill.
Love on the battlefield, man.
Jeez, yeah, literally.
Literally love on the battlefield, dude. That sounds fascinating. How do you balance waifu love with actual practicality of a video game? Is that possible? Are they doing it?
You can. You just don't do it as cringy as the last games, which it seems like Three Houses managed to do by not making it so freaking weird, which I kind of like, honestly.
Our video game budget has $50 million. 35 of it is going into jiggle physics.
I hate that so much.
These will be the most... You already know that, the Dead or Alive team is working on that PS5 jiggle physics, Doug.
I just want to see these girls slap a volleyball with their titties because that's exactly what every single boy needs in their life.
No, maximum gravores. I want to see them do the bullet dodge like in what was that one anime? High School of the Dead.
High School of the Dead.
I want to see that's maximum gravore, dog. That's what I need to see on my PS5 system.
You want to see a bullet fly between the swinging sweater meats of a girl who's wearing just garter belts and high heels while she slashes zombies in half with a katana. Yeah,
isn't that every adolescent boy's dream, though?
And the guys.
But again, I'm not an adolescent boy.
And the sniper, the guy who's firing the bullet is using this other girl and her tits as a literal cushion to steady the gun.
Anime.
God, anime was a mistake.
Anime was a mistake as Miyazaki cries into his soup.
Anyway, so what about you, Mike? You been having a good week so far, bud? You been doing okay?
I'm feeling a little bit better, like you said, the existential crisis of being an adult, juggling 2 jobs, balancing life, combing my hair. It's all a big problem, dude. But, we have nerdy stuff to help cushion the blow of, living in this horrorscape, which is our world right now. Speaking of New Game Plus, I've been New Game Plussing Star Wars Fallen Order recently.
Ooh, how is that?
That game is interesting. It is one is made by Respawn, which I love that team. Respawn can do no harm in my eyes.
Titanfall 2 is God.
Titanfall 2 is godlike. For what it's worth, Apex Legends is really fun if you really want to get into it. And I was really surprised with what they brought to Star Wars Fallen Order because it's not for the faint of heart. You know what I mean? As a Star Wars game, you think it would have the lowest barrier of accessibility, right? For for little Han Solo who just wants to pick up a controller and play with a lightsaber. You know, you think that would make it easy, but no. Fallen Order's balls hard. That game is not playing games with you. It is like, it's for a Star Wars game, mind you. There's going to be that person like, oh no, I beat it in 6 hours. Okay, whatever. But that game does not take it easy on you. Like, you have parry spacing and combo mastery and variations in attack and platforming and Metroidvania kind of level layout. It's very detailed for a Star Wars game, and I'm not used to that anymore, right? So
I mean, yeah, but it makes me really want to play it too at the same time.
it's really fun, and it all came down to one day. I was sitting in my room, and I was like, I want to swing a green lightsaber. How can I swing a green lightsaber right now? And I was like, play KOTOR 2. Like, oh, I can't. Play KOTOR 1. The only way I can play that is on my iPad, and I don't want to do that. Okay, does Fallen Order have green lightsabers? Yes. So I will play that.
I remember one time, like, I was at a band camp. Surprise, surprise, honestly.
Surprise.
I was at band camp, and we were playing a lightsaber duel, so, like, I think about 5 different kids brought in all their lightsabers. It was basically like 15 of the damn things. There's like those plastic ones with the chute that kind of drops out when you flick your wrist real hard.
Yeah.
And so we were playing duels, and I was playing against this one guy who was pretty much just being a dick the entire time, like hitting people too hard.
Mm-hmm. There's
Or
always that
maybe
one guy.
Yeah, it's like he wasn't like a bad personality, but he was fine in the band and just hanging out. He's really cool to hang out with. But when he played lightsabers, he was just kind of a dick.
Competitive. Yeah.
So I became an ultra dick, and I took 2 lightsabers to his one, and I threw one of the lightsabers at him, and then I charged in and started smacking him with the other one.
That is literally a move in Fallen Order. I'm not bullshitting you. That's a move in Fallen Order.
Like, you throw it, then you attack with the other lightsaber in your other hand?
No spoilers, but you fight an adversary that throws a lightsaber at you, and as it's attacking you, he comes in for a like dashing attack. You're like, you have to choose what you want to block. You're going to eat damage. You're going to eat damage one way or another. It's crazy. It's funny.
Really? That's a move?
Yeah, it's a move, dude. It's so bullshit. Shit. The game cheats, Doug.
Yo, Tyler, you a dick? We had fun though.
Tyler, if you're listening, if you're a fellow master of the Nerdiverse, don't be salt, dude. You got destroyed. You weren't ready for that tech. Dude.
I mean, to be fair, I only got him by surprise, and he smacked me really hard in the head and won.
No, my funniest lightsaber story is when we found the secret Sith at camp. There's a kid that was a secret Sith because there was like 5 or in a big giant camp. There was like maybe 4 or 5 boys who had lightsabers who were into Star Wars. And we would play, and there's this one kid who always watch us but never interact, right? He was really shy. And when the camp leaders was like, why don't you go over there and play with them? He was just like real shy. And we're like, no, come on, play with us. And I had my green, and that's my favorite lightsaber color. One guy had his blue, and out of nowhere, the kid flicks his lightsaber, and it's a red lightsaber. We're all like, ooh. The guy's a Sith, and he came in, and we let him beat us all. So he came in and just defeated all of us.
That's pretty good.
It was so good. I never forget that guy. He could draw and everything. He ended up being my buddy in camp because I ended up befriending him. And I was like, nah, man, you're super cool. You're cool in my book, dude. Your parents let you buy a red lightsaber. My mom wouldn't buy me one for the implication. I couldn't have a red lightsaber as a kid. Bought one as an adult out of spite. Have you ever done anything out of spite as an adult that you couldn't do as a kid?
I mean, there's always plenty. Like, eating really bad food is a huge one.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, wearing what you want to wear.
Yeah.
Things like that. I mean, most of the things you do as an adult is out of spite.
100%. Like 75% of what I do is stubbing my nose at someone, right? I watched The Exorcist when I was, because my mom wouldn't let me watch it as long as I was in her house, because she was like, yeah, it's not happening. It was funny. My mom loves horror movies, but The Exorcist was one of those, that was a step too far. And I understand why, because that must freak me out. It's like a, 18, 19-year-old young man. I was like, I see now why, Mom, because I've had nightmares for like 3 weeks straight. Great.
There you go.
Parents just do understand. and the more you know. Womp, 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 womp. Other than that, I didn't really do much this week. I watched a movie, which is bad because I don't remember what movie I watched. Oh yeah, I just watched it last night. I watched a movie called Den of Thieves. It was with Curtis 50 Cent Jackson, um, uh, uh, um, Ice Cube's son, O'Shea Jackson Jr., I think, and Gerard Butler, where it's all LA based, and they play bank robbers. You know what I mean? And it's the reason I bring it up because it's very LA based. It's almost gratuitous how LA it is. They list very LA specific towns all the time in the movie. Like, oh yeah, this is Hawthorne and this is Pico Rivera and just things outside of LA. Like if you weren't from LA, you wouldn't know what towns I'm talking about. Oh, that's Long Beach. You know, you may know Long Beach, but you know what I mean? Like it was just a very interesting, fun movie. I like heist movies like that sometimes. Like Heat. You ever seen Heat?
I have not. No.
Oh, Heat with Robert De Niro and Al Pacino, dude. It's so freaking good. You know, like they're dueling against each other in like a battle of wills, and The Italian Job and movies like that. And one of the few perfect trilogies, the Ocean's trilogy. It's really good too. What's your favorite trilogy?
I mean, my default go-to is the first Lord of the Ring movies.
Yeah. Those are untouchable.
I mean, that's a staple. I mean, it just really is.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny you can't count The Hobbit. The Hobbit trilogy is its own thing.
Yeah, and they just aren't quite as good.
No, not at all. Peter Jackson is... What happened to him, man? Your ass used to be beautiful.
Oh, I mean, he was pretty good, but then Universal basically started like taking what he wanted and just excruciatingly tearing it out of him one step at a time.
Did you see Mortal Engines?
No. I didn't want to.
Shadow of his former self, dude. It's crazy. Anywho, speaking of evil shadows, you want to go into the poll of the week?
Yeah, let's do that.
It's a poll. It may be a poll, but it doesn't have a hole. Do polls have holes?
It's a weekly poll, but it's not so weak.
I like that. We're keeping it. So, because I'm a big fat horror nerd, I realized I never asked this question to the Nerdiverse, which out of these four is your favorite horror icon? And the choices are as follows. Jason Voorhees from Friday the 13th, Freddy Krueger from Nightmare on Elm Street, Michael Myers from Halloween, and Leatherface from A Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Are you familiar with do you have any longing for any of these characters? Austin?
I mean, Michael is a pretty good example because Halloween is a great movie.
Yep. Birth of a Genre, John Carpenter, you know, doing his thing. One of the few perfect horror movies, you know. Freddy Krueger, Wes Craven, you know, Dream, you know, Allegory, Friday the 13th. I mean, even a Texas Chainsaw Massacre is a great horror movie. You know what I mean? The first one. But, you know, they're all really good, and they all have really crazy, insane, long franchises, which is why, you know, slasher movies were buried into the ground in the 80s and late 90s. It's, you know what I mean? And that whole genre just imploded onto itself, sadly.
And the music is just iconic.
Yeah.
In most of these series.
In most of these series, the music is next level. Like, I love the theme to Friday the 13th. I love the theme to Friday the 13th. I love the theme to Nightmare on Elm Street.
Right.
Of course, Halloween's theme is the ringtone of all horror nerds. You know what I mean? So, needless to say, and I have to put this out there, I'm going to do this reverse. Poor Leatherface got 0 votes, man. Poor Leatherface.
I mean, to be fair, it's not quite as good as the others.
Man, it's funny. The fourth spot, you know, there's always the Mount Rushmore, right? It's like the fourth spot's always the hardest to fill because you're like, okay, you don't want to go too obscure, but you want to go with more like a family name. Because I was going to put Pinhead there, but a lot of people don't know who Pinhead is. He's not a family, as much as I love it. I have to admit, he's not like a family name. You know, our Candyman may have been more relevant because of the new movie coming out. Freddy Krueger got 17% of the votes. Jason Voorhees got 33%. And our winner this week is Michael Myers. That boy ain't right. At 50% of the votes, half the votes went to him.
It also helps that Michael had a really, really good, I guess, sequel / reboot in the past, 2 years?
Yeah, I mean, man, they keep that franchise wet, dude. That franchise is not dry, dude. There's a Halloween movie once every 5 years at least. And we haven't seen Fred Krueger in 10 years since that horrible remake. And Jason Voorhees, the whole Friday the 13th franchise is in legal hell. So that's not coming out anytime soon. You know what I mean? So Michael Myers has the most play because I think that has the cleanest creation line between all the other characters, Does New Line still exist? No, right?
I don't think it does.
Yeah. New Line doesn't really exist anymore. And all the people who are attached to the original Freddy is kind of gone. Wes Craven passed away. All the executive producers and things have moved on, are retired. So that's a character that may make a resurgence in the 20s. I would love to see another remake of that. Just get a better actor. But it's hard when the typecast is that strong with Robert Englund. It's oh yeah, we're gonna make a new Terminator that's not Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's hard to do that when you have such an iconic person in that role. But you got to do it. You just super got to do it. Which is why I love James Bond, because James Bond is the perfect example of how to keep a franchise going. Make it a precedent that there's gonna be a new James Bond every once in a while, so no one gets too attached. Yeah. Let's go over some news, shall we?
Man, there's some good ones out here, and there's some good stinkers too.
There's some good stinkers. There's things we're going to want to talk about, and things we're going to go, hey.
All right, so where do you want to go start first?
Let's start with video games, my good man.
EA.
So EA had a weird kind of pseudo E3 kind of demo, seems to be what's going on this year. A lot of the independent companies are doing their own thing, and they called it EA Play 2020. And there are some video games that are worth talking about in that press conference. One of them being Star Wars Squadrons, a new, I would say, multiplayer dogfighting game made by EA. Who's the development team on that?
I forget, but all I know is this looks like a good Ace Combat Star Wars game.
Ace Combat, Rogue Squadron, simulator, which in VR is probably going to be insane.
Yeah.
It's going to be just mind-bending where it's funny, they make you create two different characters, right? They make you create a Rebels character and a Empire character.
So it's going to be a mostly multiplayer game. That's that's the gist. I mean, it makes sense to do that because lots of games do that nowadays. But I like how there's no microtransactions. They said there's not going to be any so far.
We'll see.
But developers lie out their asshole all the time. So we'll have to wait and see.
You don't think there's going to be Millennium Falcon added to Squadrons for $20? Slave One added to Squadrons for $20. People will buy it, dude.
Yeah.
I would buy it.
I would not. I would not.
Millennium Falcon, dude. If you're into the game, right? If you're into the game, you're ensconced, you got your squad, your buddies, squad up every Saturday night. You're playing every night. You're running defense. You're running bomb raids. You're in there, right? Millennium Falcon.
I've always thought the Millennium Falcon looks like an overgrown frisbee.
I always thought it was impractical in battle because it covers a lot of space and there's a lot of things to hit on the Millennium Falcon. I was more of a Slave One guy, but that's because I'm a Boba Fett mark, so it doesn't really matter. But I mean, EA is going to get their money. That's the problem. That's the overall problem with EA. They're going to get their money one way or another. It's just don't get too attached because you may have to just jettison this game if they start acting stupid. Another game that was mentioned in the EA Play, which had no images, no gameplay, was Skate 4. The internet screamed loud enough for so long that
that is going to be very interesting. I have to admit.
We're finally getting a Skate 4 Could it be in response to the Tony Hawk remakes? You think
Maybe?
that's where their heads are at? Like, well, if this remake does good, this may reinvigorate that skate genre that was so big in the 90s and 2000s, and there's still kids that skateboard all day. It's still a viable market, you know. So why not try to tap that again? And we have this franchise which we've just been sitting on. You know, why not bring it back? So very interested to see what they do with Skate 4 on PS5, because PS4 is already dead. You know, everyone's looking towards the horizon, literally.
I mean, everyone's playing Last of Us 2 on PS4 right now.
With 100 gig download. You want to talk about her? You want to talk about
Jesus, it has 100 gigabyte download?
Yeah, that's why I didn't buy it. I'm not buying that shit.
I did not. Why?
It's like 75 to 100 gigs. I was reading it because it's full of immersion and horror.
Oh god! So the thing is, I'm still probably going to play that game no matter what. My wife and I loved playing that game together in the first place. So I just kind of want to go back and play the next one. Sadly.
100 gigs. I'm gonna wait till PS5 when they figure that stuff out and shrink these.
They are going to re-release it. That's for sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna wait. Yeah.
Is it like re-release, or are they going to do the automatic download between the two?
I would hope they would do automatic download up-res.
You
already own the game. Take your existing file, download it into your PS5. The PS5 will auto up-res with faster load times instantly. Hoping. Because I don't have space to add that game onto my external hard drive. I only had to buy one external hard drive for the entire generation. It's just now teetering on being completely full. And it's like 100 gigs would just blow it out. I'm like, no, I'm not. I'll wait. You know what I mean?
That would be a lot, to be fair.
Yeah, I'm going to spend, you know. But if you love it, you'll make space.
Yeah. I mean, I want to make space for the PS5 because it's going to probably be the biggest console yet, physically.
Let's talk about
Jesus.
Let's talk about the PS5 for a second and actual design and actual unit size versus... I saw this picture online, and Maximilian Dude commented on it. And it was a picture of a PS5, a Switch on its... the portable Switch on its back, in a Xbox Series X. And this thing was literally like 2/3 bigger, standing upright, than the Xbox One X. What the hell, dude?
So that's going to like beg the question, because there's going to be a lot that's going to be done. This could mean so much for the PS5 in general. It could be great. It could be just... It's going to be a big fucking console, that's for sure.
It's going to take space, and it's going to be awkward. It's going to be that one system that just hangs out awkwardly in your house that draws attention to itself. Maybe it's by design. I don't know. But
to stand out on your console, probably.
Yeah, that thing's not going to fit anywhere, dude. You know, even if you lay it on its side, it takes up half of like a clearing space. You know, you have to get a dining room table just to put this thing by itself. You know what I mean? That's a bit hyperbole, but if you see this picture, it's like it can't be that big. And then it has the fins on top and make it taller.
Yeah.
You know,
honestly,
it's big already. And then it has like another inch gap between the actual console and the air fins. This thing has aerodynamic fins on top. It's just too much, man. It reminds me of the old school Xbox. That brick. Remember that?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it wasn't a bad design, but it was small and compact at least.
Yeah, it was just like having a book bag on your desk, you know? Like just slam it on your desk. People are getting real creative with it. They're adding all these different kind of mock colors. I saw this really cool Miles Morales PS5 with the red lights instead of blue. Look really neat, dude. And you know people are going to mod the hell out of this thing.
So apparently, like, a Sony executive said that you can apparently have like modular colors. Yeah. We're not too sure what that actually means. Like customization, who knows? Who knows what it actually means? But
yeah,
hopefully it means it's like relevant to this Twitter user, Peter Samir, Samir 37, who created this mock-up of several different color schemes. Did you get a chance to look at that?
Yeah. What was your favorite? Which one was calling to you, man?
I really like the red primary coloration with the white lights.
Yeah.
That stuck out to me a lot. Or the opposite, the white primary color with the red. Oof.
It's going to be pretty. I think what it's going to do, you know how like on the PlayStation 4 controller, where it will just change colors depending on what you're doing?
Yeah.
What if it just starts changing colors depending on what you're doing? Like if I play Borderlands and I'm using, let's say, let's say I'm using a fire elemental gun, the light will change red. Or if I'm using like an acid, it'll change green. You know what I mean? Like, what if the light on the PlayStation is like a Dead Space life bar where the coloring will shade different depending on what, you know what I mean? That'd be kind of neat, dude. Like,
I would actually freaking love that.
Maybe it'd be maybe a little distracting, but it would still be cool. You pretty much have like a laser light show going on while you're playing your video game. You know what I mean? Standing upright, it's going to look beautiful.
I mean, why not? Why not?
Why not?
It's going to be like a $500+ console, so why not?
I wanted to shoot lasers and do whatever at that price point. You know what I mean? I don't know if I asked you last week, but are you getting the digital or do you want the...
I mean physical.
You get physical? Yeah. I may just bite the bullet and get physical myself, you know? Because what if I want to play PS3 and I just have to slap in a PS3 game in there?
I mean...
If that's even possible.
It doesn't seem possible for one thing, but I'd rather just have the assurance of having a physical disc. And like I said last time, I think...
Like steel boxes. Yeah.
Steel boxes, yeah. Steel boxes are making a really cool art design choices nowadays. I kind of like them a lot. So, there's that.
There's that. Okay, you want to lead us in with the Itch.io bundle?
God damn, people.
What's going on with this, man?
So, Itch.io had a bundle of 5,000 games on PC for $5. Or whatever you want to donate towards it, like $20, $100, whatever you want to put into it. This included games like Night in the Woods, included like PDFs for like role-playing games, little indie developer games here and there. Really good stuff. It made over $8 million. And all the proceeds from that went to charities and funds for basically racial equality. Just making sure like these get to the proper organizations for, say, for bailouts for improperly arrested peoples, for food, shelters, and just generally non-profit groups that aim at lobbying for racial equalities.
Talk about the ultimate humble bundle, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's the ultimate humble bundle, dude.
This is the best humble bundle ever.
5,000 games. Go nuts, you know? Like, hey, support a very, very good cause. Give $5 or whatever you want to give. We're going to give you this knapsack full of games that you'll never have. You'll be playing these for multiple lifetimes. You know what I mean? Like, go nuts, dude. You know, and there's some bangers in there too. So it's like you're getting good money out of that.
It's honestly a really good cause, and it makes me pretty happy to see that it succeeded so well.
Absolutely, you always get to see that. It's always nice to see that big number, especially for like charities. You know what I mean? And
exactly.
So good for them.
So
yeah.
Leading into these other great causes, there's also this really weird article I saw. So ADHD kids can now be prescribed video games for treatment.
I don't like that.
So
I don't know. That's super weird, dude. I don't know.
So here's the thing. It's not like any general video game. It's a specific program that is meant to create a stimulation that helps kids focus, because ADHD kids have a problem with focusing on one general subject or area at a time.
Right.
They need constant stimulation to keep them on track. This game is developed to basically simulate that and be a teaching lesson for these kids at the same time.
Man, I'm okay with. I'm 100%. Excuse me, I'm 100% okay with that, because I remember as a kid, we used to have a ton of games that were educational and games that were more for like the stimulation of mental development, right?
Right.
You know what I mean? In Lemonade Stand, you know, those old games as a kid. So if they're developing games for the sole prescribed reason to help children, you know, handle and manage their ADHD, then, and it's something that they can tie into, then I'm like more power for that. I was like,
yeah,
make your kid play Mario and then, you know, let them focus on that. You know, that's not the complete answer, but I think that can help. You know what I
So
mean?
this is utterly fascinating to me because I'm getting my master's in educational technology, which
Mhm.
is kind of right up in this alleyway. If I
Yeah.
can, it's just so similar. My focus, my ideas for a while has been like how to create technologies for kids like with ADHD, with ADD, with dyslexia, with autism.
Hmm.
There's all kinds of ways I'm thinking like I want to get into this kind of stuff for a while. This first step I've seen is really wild for me. This is fantastic. This is really cool stuff. So seeing where this goes forward, like this other article I found out, This War of Mine is being included onto a reading list for Polish schools.
Well, tell me about. I'm completely in the dark about this one. What's going on with
So,
this one?
This War of Mine is a visual novel game. It is about the Sarajevo peoples during their civil wars back in the 80s/90s. It is grim and dark as hell. This is a ultimate like this is live accounts of people's lives ruined by civil war and how they struggled to survive and make life normal again. Being included in Polish public schools. That's utterly fascinating. It's not like
Hey,
required reading, but it's optional reading for certain courses. And due to materials, the Polish government has said you have to be 18 or above to read this in schools.
hey, kids! You ever seen Grave of the Fireflies? Buckle
Yeah,
in.
yeah, exactly. Same kind of concept, but this is more interactive. It's more focused on player interactivity and retention. So cool,
Cool.
amazing. I love this.
You gonna get woke today, kids. We're gonna tell you what it's about.
Word of the week: Enwi.
And we. Speaking of kids' mental images and pictures, Pokemon Snap is coming to the Switch. You ready to fall into that hole again?
Oh
You ready to fall into that hole again, my man? welcome,
yeah,
welcome back to the stage of history.
yeah, Pokemon Snap, bitches, yeah.
You're gonna have to. Will you ever catch the ball?
God, I fucking love this.
What if it's only?
I'm so happy for this.
It's such a simple thing, and that's what makes the Switch so powerful. It's such a simple thing, right? It's the most simple thing, but it's so satisfying. It's nothing.
God, yes.
Pokemon
God, yes.
Snap, for those who weren't around when that first launched, what was it on the N64?
Yep.
Was a problem because you had Pokemon Snap and Pokemon Stadium, which came out around the same time.
Yeah,
think.
Pokemon Snap came a little bit later because the polygons and the models were a bit more polished, essentially.
And but you're on these rails, and you pretty much you have to take pictures of Pokemon, almost like a duck hunt. You know what I mean, in a weird way. Whereas first person,
you don't know Pokemon until you make a Voltorb suicide kill itself to unlock more tracks for you to go down and throw apples at Charmander, so it goes down inside of Charmeleon. So it goes down to a pit of lava and evolves.
You will die so my art can live. Let's
Exactly.
go. Pokemon are the most tortured creatures in popular culture.
I love in the trailer you see a Pidgeot like grab a Magikarp and just fly off.
Into the infinite, right?
Yep. Oh, dinner.
That Magikarp's gonna have a bad time. He should have pizza when he French fried.
That's a callback I haven't heard in a while.
Let's go. Speaking of food, what's going on with your boys at KFC, man?
KFC is the weirdest brand I have ever seen adapt to the internet culture.
So KFC, known for KFC dating simulator,
which is real.
Which is known for the KFC Eat Extreme Final Fantasy 7 14, I'm sorry, 7's on the brain. Final Fantasy 14 Eat-a-thon brings you now the KFC island in Animal Crossing that you can visit. And there's a weird little kernel on the island that says, "Behold my wares." KFC has their finger on the pulse of pop culture, dude.
That is
beautiful. Beautiful. KFC knows.
Yeah.
It's so subtle about it's you see the differences between like Wendy's and KFC, where Wendy's is like the sassy Twitter account, right? That says real cool, hip stuff. But KFC is more subtle than that. It's never KFC US either. It's always KFC like international. They're doing these strange things.
So just people can understand this. For the Final Fantasy fans out there, your boy here. In 14, you could get like a black fat chocobo mount if you redeem a KFC code from KFC in China. What does that include? It includes a family package, which includes a double chicken burger, a vegan mushroom burger, 5-piece chicken nuggets, original recipe chicken ×2, 1 2-piece New Orleans chicken wings order, 1 Old Beijing spicy duck roll, 2 large Pepsis, and 2 large oolong teas.
That you had to drink by yourself. That you had to eat by yourself.
Eat and drink by yourself.
You had to finish the whole thing before you could get the coupon code. By yourself in one sitting. Couldn't take it home. You had to sit there and they had to watch you do it.
You have to sit in their restaurant and do it while they watch.
7-hour missions, dude. True raid battle. A real life raid battle. No help. You see,
I'm a chubby boy, but I would die.
I'm a big guy too. I'm a big guy.
I would die,
and that would destroy me. I wouldn't have. You mentioned you prepare for that like I've been eating saltine and water for the last 3-4 days in preparation for this raid battle. I have to do at KFC on the weekend. You will lose. And the caveat is, if you go to the bathroom, they will take your food, throw it away, and bring you back a fresh plate for you to start all over again. You reset the aggro table. So, yeah, KFC is known for doing silly stuff to torture and just to weird out their clientele. Now, you can go to Animal Crossing and just happen to come across KFC Land, where you get Kentucky Fried happiness. Play Kentucky Animal Crossing.
More like Kentucky Fried Arteries.
Kentucky Fried intestinal line. Dude. Oh,
yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
We get to talk about some comic book stuff now, my man. That's what we get to talk about.
Yeah.
I'm a nerd.
So what the hell is DC doing?
I love it. DC is the worst.
First, okay.
There's a lot of DC news this week.
Start with Marvel.
Okay. So, when you were a kid, were you old enough to have a Teddy Ruxpin? Do you know what that is?
I don't know what that is.
A Teddy Ruxpin was this teddy bear that had an audio tape in it that would talk to you and communicate.
Oh, holy crap! That is terrifying.
The Teddy Ruxpin, dog.
Jesus Christ! What is this nightmare?
Yeah, this is the stuff that few child's play, right? The Teddy Ruxpin, dog. That thing was floating around your house, whispering things in garbled audio. Especially when it had a low battery, the voice would warp. So he'd be like, "I'm your friend." You hear that at 3:00 in the morning. You're throwing that thing out, dog. So you say, I'm a Marvel fan. I went to Teddy Ruxpin experience. Guess what you're getting?
What the hell?
Hasbro Marvel Legends. Yeah, don't think about it too hard, Austin. It causes pain.
So Hasbro unveils this version of Deadpool with that same logic.
Kind of thought logic. It's a Deadpool head, a disembodied Deadpool head that you can place anywhere in your house. And it's like a little Siri. It's like a little Alexa. It has like 6,000 voice commands, something crazy like that. It says little quips and whips. You're watching the Teddy Ruxpin video, aren't you? Don't do it, man. I'm trying to tell you. I consider you a friend. I would not wish this upon you.
I am looking at this video, and it is, admittedly, animatronics have gotten a lot better over the years.
Leaps and bounds, dude. I had a Teddy Ruxpin. I threw it out. Because it started freaking me out as a kid. My imagination couldn't handle it. But
I want to send this to a nerdy friend who doesn't want Deadpool in their house and just really mess with them.
Can you imagine having a Deadpool in your bathroom? Or in the marriage bed, Doug? Can you imagine Deadpool talking mess while you're like having the fun time?
I want to order this without someone knowing about it and just place it in their like fridge.
Yeah, you open the fridge. What's up, dirtbag? You just throw the whole fridge out, dude. You throw the whole fridge away.
Holy Christ! I'm
mortified. I'm mortified by this. I'm mortified by this.
What is God and what is his fallible creations that we are?
No God, no man, only Deadpool. No
What?
gods, no kings, only Deadpool.
Don't you bring Bioshock into this mess?
Because they have to be here. Yeah, so purchase this for your loved one, children, your grandmother, your spouse, your work bae. You know what I mean? Have this on the desk at work. You know, and don't talk to anyone who entertains it. You know.
I am so very, very fascinated by this nightmare.
It's for you. This eldritch horror.
Just do go on.
Okay, speaking of eldritch horrors, DC has announced a multi-year podcast partnership with Spotify.
So what does that mean exactly?
It means that there is a podcast. I think this is where they got the inspiration. Marvel did a partnership with Stitcher about a year ago for a podcast called Wolverine. It's like The Long Dark Road or something like that. And it was a podcast where it tells a Wolverine story, which is actually really, really good. I would definitely recommend you listen to that. It's a podcast about Wolverine and kind of like some Wolverine Gaiden, right? He's off doing his own thing. Had 2 seasons, and it was very successful. A lot of people bought Stitcher subscriptions to see what Marvel's doing. So what DC is going to be doing with a partnership of Spotify is creating DC branded superhero, heroine. I don't think superheroine's a word anymore. Podcasts based on these heroes. So there's going to be a Batman podcast where they'll tell the story kind of like along the lines of what's the podcast? Into the Night Vale?
Yeah, Night Vale or something like that.
It's going to be along those lines where it tells a story, and it's going to be kind of like an audiobook where they create these stories that are going to be going on for, the popular heroes. I'm assuming there's going to be a Batman one, a Superman one, a Wonder Woman one, a Flash one. And they're entering the podcast arena, so this one interested me because we're a podcast and, and seeing other interesting podcast ideas float around. And 2, to see if it's good or not. What kind of voice actors are they going to get? You know what I mean? Could they snag Kevin Conroy to do a podcast for Batman? I would listen just for that. You know what I mean? Are they going to get Mark Hamill to replay the Joker? It's like little things like that. They're going to get Tim Daly to be Superman. They're going to get Jason Momoa to be Aquaman. Like DC and Warner, you would think had the money, but that's another article we could talk about real quick. You think they would have the money to get like big name voices for these voice actors? Maybe they're going to get the old Justice League people to do it. Phil Lamar be Green Lantern. So I don't know. I just thought it was a very interesting. It's going to be a very interesting take.
If they get Phil Lamar on this, I'll jump on. Honestly, I just love that man.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like they do a Green Lantern one, and it's Phil Lamar and someone else playing Hal Jordan, and they do like some kind of cool side mission where they go and check out a planet that's full of red lanterns or something. That's usually how these podcast audiobooks go. So DC's planning to do that with Spotify. And since I have Spotify, and you can listen to this podcast on Spotify, wink, you can check out both. And hopefully those will be coming out soon.
Haha, give us money, Spotify. Haha.
Make us a partner.
Jesus Christ.
Wow. Make us a partner.
I saw this next trailer, but DC, god damn it, stop telling me to play Fortnite.
No, is Fortnite still a thing?
Yes, very strongly so. It's
very strongly so. Okay. Aquaman rides a dolphin into Fortnite. Okay. First question. I don't play a lot of Fortnite. I'm not really big into the Fortnite. I know how the game plays. I've seen it played. I watched that weird Star Wars thing they did. That somehow got into the Rise of the Skywalker. That's a whole nother podcast.
And Thanos.
And John Wick and Batman, whatever. Is there any water levels on Fortnite? Is there any water in general?
I don't know, but apparently there's going to be soon because you can ride a shark, evidently.
So Aquaman, who is an aquatic hero, is going to be building structures on top of the water a la Waterworld? Which I would love to see, if that's the case. Are they going to get Jason Momoa to do the voice? Are there voices in Furt Nerd? Are there voices? Do the characters grunt and make noises? I don't know.
I don't know, and I really don't know because I'm not going to pick up this game.
You already picked it up. It's already downloaded secretly onto your console of choice.
Oh, Jesus!
You already have Furt Nerd. You just need to boot it back up, like the rest of the world. Remember that patch? The patch you just had.
All right, no. Next.
Furt Nerd was in the patch.
Next. Next.
Speaking of next, what the hell is DC Fandom?
I know it sounds like a really, really bad WWE knockoff, and I say skip it.
I don't know what it is. It's like a virtual theme park. I want to skip it because I can't grasp the concept. But all of that to say,
how about you summarize it? Just summarize that sucker.
It's gonna be an event where there are gonna be like 5 different websites that link together, and each website's gonna focus on one particular thing. It's gonna be DC Kids, right? It's gonna be DC Interactive. It's gonna be DC Movies, DC Comics, and they're all going to be this fandom kind of thing. And apparently this is the DC's Comic-Con vehicle to show off new information. So apparently we're supposed to be getting a Wonder Woman 84 trailer in this, a trailer for the abomination that is Zack Snyder's the Snyder Cut is supposed to be in this. We're supposed to get more information on the DC Universe stuff, like, you know, the animated version of Harley Quinn, which everyone watch. The animated Harley Quinn, the animated series, is amazing. It's actually really funny and good. So,
and then there's DC Adults for whenever you want to have Harley Quinn in your lap.
DC After Dark. No, what they call it, DC Vertigo, where you get to see Harley Quinn as a dancer crying in the lap of Joker. Yes, that's in a book.
Oh God. Oh Jesus.
Brian Azzarello.
I tried to make it funny and like kind of perverse, but you just made it like really uncomfortable.
I just named a panel from the Joker graphic novel written by Brian Azzarello. That's all I did. Stating facts. It happened. Someone drew it and made it real. So yeah, check out the Fandom and be as perplexed as Mike G is on exactly what it is.
But what's not so perplexing is Artemis Fowl and its utter failure.
What's up with that? You're the person who read the book, right?
I read the book. I read the book 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6.
So you're a fan.
I read a lot of those books back in the day. Yeah.
Are you surprised?
This was doomed to failure from the first trailer, if we're going to be completely honest. Because in the trailer, the first thing you notice is that, one, Artemis Fowl is kind of a stupid kid, when in the books he's a evil genius. Like, he literally is an unlikable asshole genius kid.
Nice.
And in the movie, he's like, oh, there's fairies and stuff around me. I wonder if I need my help. It's like, oh, Christ. And just like some of the graphics is a little too stupid. If we're going to be completely honest.
How do we have 90s graphics now in 2020?
Well,
how's that possible?
The funniest thing is that it's so far off the book. The only thing that's canonical to the book is when the dwarf character unhinges his jaw and eats and poops out sand at the same time.
I saw a clip of that. I was like, this is
feeding time.
That's not in the movie, right? That's a
no.
movie, right?
No, that's in the movie.
I'm watching this later today. I'm watching this right after we record. I need to understand. I'm watching the full thing. I need to understand.
It is so god awful. Like, there is no way. It got single digits on Rotten Tomatoes. Let's put it that way. It got single digits in Rotten Tomatoes, guys.
That's rare.
Guys and gals, that's friends.
Rare. That's Freddy Got Fingered rare.
It's just so bad.
Austin.
It's so bad. Disney wanted this to be a series, laughably.
Of course they did. I'm a very astute nerd, you know what I'm saying? And I have a feeling that you have a more versed understanding of the literary arts than I do. So I'm going to ask you, are there certain book series that are adaptation proof?
How do you mean? Like they are perfect for adaptations or terrible for adaptations?
They're adaptation proof, like bulletproof, like they cannot be adapted.
Well,
there's no way to do it right.
Well, they tried that with Aragon about 10 years ago, and that was an utter fucking failure.
Percy Jackson
was it got a sequel. Like, legit, weird. Wow, right? Yeah, weird. Somehow. If we're going to talk about actual adaptations, honestly, I thought for the longest time Wheel of Time was in that category.
Wheel of Time.
But that's coming to Amazon pretty soon, and I have kept myself really far removed from opinion. This is going to be really terrifying for me to experience, honestly.
What was the other one Disney did with Oprah and the little kid? Sands of Time.
Wrinkle of Time.
Wrinkle of Time. Didn't do that well.
What would be completely foolproof is Redwall. Brian Jake's Redwall series. No way in hell is that going to be adapted successfully.
Is Lord of
impossible.
The Rings and Harry Potter really the only shining examples of that? Not to mention Stephen King. Stephen King is a whole different thing.
Well, it's really hard to say because honestly, Lord of the Rings was actually done supremely well because they gave it time and effort and became a big Oscar winner, like against people's expectations, which was great. Harry Potter was a bit more muddled because they had at least like 4 different directors doing the movie. So that's actually like the artistic creation and vision wasn't streamlined, and actually it was a lot harder for people to kind of digest after like book 3 and 4 were completely different than 1 and 2, then 5, then 6, then 7 and 8, like completely different movies. It's impossible to really call them the same exact movie series.
But you look at things like the Hunger Games, right? You look at the Twilight series, and it makes me think the more grander the scope of the story, the more impossible it becomes. Like if you have a generalized story like The Road by Cormac McCarthy, don't read that, by the way. It'll bum you out. Hold that for now. Read that after we're out of a pandemic. Don't read The Road now.
It's a good movie.
It'll jack you up. The smaller the scope of the book, the easier it is to encapsulate the spirit of the book, right?
Honestly, that's just a very standard yes.
But you have something like Dune, right? Which is a universe. How do you conceptualize that in 2.5 hours max?
Honestly,
you don't, right?
Honestly, the thing is people are doing nowadays is staying away from movies and just doing series, which is honestly a lot better. It's so much better to do that.
I've always said when it comes to video games, I prefer them in a Netflix-style TV series versus a movie any day.
I mean, we are going to get The Last of Us as an HBO series.
And The Witcher was amazing.
Witcher was actually rather great.
I liked The Witcher a lot. I think Henry Cavill, this is why, and I don't want to go into too much of a tiebreak, we're reaching the end of the show, but I love Henry Cavill. I think Henry Cavill's talented. He just never gets enough to do. Like, the guy has some kind of acting chops. You know what I mean? Like, I just want him to be in a more meaty role. Like, if he plays Superman again, give him an actual good director. And, you know,
yeah.
I hate to rag on, I'm not really ragging on Zach. I'm just saying that we need Superman to be more than what he has been over the years. And I still see Henry Cavill as my Superman, but that's neither here nor there.
But he just needs to have like ability to flex and kind of be more relaxed in the role. Because
he just needs to be relaxed Clark, you know, let him be Clark more.
He needs to not have so much production studio oversight.
That's the thing. A lot of these directors don't need the money. Like, I want to see Tim Burton on a indie movie like budget again. See what he comes up with. You know, certain directors are worse with bigger money. You know what I mean?
This is true.
I think Zack's the same way. Zack Snyder works best when he's under the gun. You know? But speaking of book adaptations and Lord of the Rings, this week we lost a movie titan. We lost Ian Holmes, passed away. Ian Holmes may not be a name that automatically hits your ear, but he played Bilbo Baggins in the Lord of the Rings trilogy. He was one of my favorite characters in horror cinema. He played Ash in the original Alien. He's been this character actor that's been that's been on the periphery of all these great movies, and he passed away. I believe he was like in his 90s.
88.
88? There you go. And I just want to just take a second to remember, some of the works he did, especially as Bilbo, definitely as Ash in Alien. That's my favorite role of his, where he plays the android. The real kind of protagonist in that movie. Because I don't count the alien as a protagonist, because the alien's more of a force of nature than anything, right? But just a really great actor. Apparently, he was the salt of the earth. Everybody's grandpa. You know what I mean? That kind of actor. I just want to take a second to remember his works. And if you have a chance this weekend, watch one of his movies. Another one of my favorite movies is Lord of War, which is my favorite Nicolas Cage movie. Is Lord of War. It's between that and Raising Arizona are my two favorite Nicolas Cage movies. And he plays a rival gun runner of Nicolas Cage's, and he steals every scene he's in. Ian Holmes does. So yeah, just take a second to watch one of his movies. You get to see him do his thing, do what he loved, and happy trails to you, sir. Until we meet again. It's been a long...
He had a good life, and he had a great career.
I mean, he had a career that actors could only dream of. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Legend. And living in LA, there are so many actors. There's millions of actors.
I can imagine you run into a few at least once every month or so.
I cannot leave the house without running into at least 3 people with SAG cards at Coffee Bean. At least 3. And, it's tough out here, man. It's hard to get that big break, especially if you don't have the look, So, if you're in LA, it's a whole different vibe than when you're in the UK. You don't necessarily have to have the look in the UK. Maybe you do. I don't know. But, he broke through, and he's played in a multitude of roles that we're just scratching the surface on what this man's done. So wanted to end things on a not a somber note, but a celebration of his work. So watch the Lord of the Rings trilogy, watch Alien. They're both really good movies. And watch Lord of War. And watch Mandy too. Damn it. While we're at it. He's not in Mandy, but Mandy's
just
good
like
too.
it, because it's Nicolas Cage is one of Nicolas Cage's better work.
Yes, one Nicolas Cage having a chainsaw duel with a biker demon.
Oh, God.
Just listen to Mike G. He won't steer you wrong. What are you looking forward to this week?
Finishing off one class, getting a break after Friday, so that's nice.
Nice.
Oh, thank God. Besides that, probably going to play Last of Us 2 with my wife. Just don't know what to expect out of it.
Just bring your tissues, because I hear it's a tearjerker. It's a berserker.
We'll see.
It's love for you. It's like a truck. I want some kale chips. So I'm going to make me some kale chips.
That sounds healthy.
Yeah, man. With a little sea salt. And that's kind of what I want to do this week. I need a haircut.
Everybody needs a haircut right
in
now.
the worst damn way, and I'm definitely afraid to do barber home visits, because people still get the Rona that way, so I'm not doing that.
Yeah, the Rona's
not a good idea. Not a good idea.
The Rona's still out there, man.
It's still super strong. So, and I am, as I mentioned earlier, I am high risk, so I can't even play with that.
Right.
But podcast wise, definitely want to start thinking about some new avenues for next year, because this year is a wash. But I definitely want to.
Yeah. There's a lot going on this year.
It's not a good year. It's just, they're like, okay, we're going to go out and glad hand people. We're going to go to conventions. What conventions? They no longer exist. Okay, what if I, talk to some students about podcasting, and school does not exist?
My next class, I think, talks about Audible and podcasts as well. Talk about this kind of stuff in general.
Education does not exist. Only the Rona exists.
This year, Jesus, yes.
Yeah, 2020 is a trip. Other than that, I definitely want to finish off my new game plus of Fallen Order, because Borderlands is getting a new expansion. Borderlands 3 is getting a new expansion, I want to say before our next episode, so I want to play that and let you guys know how that is. Guess the other game I'm playing until the next generation is I'm bouncing between Borderlands, Mortal Kombat 11, and Fallen Order. Those are the games I'm playing right now. Because that RoboCop has to be sharp for when the children challenge me and I have to defeat them in battle. You know, as the old nerd. Do you have any last thoughts before we close this bad boy out?
Stay safe. Stay healthy. Don't touch anybody.
Don't touch them.
Except yourself.
Don't touch them! Very clear!
Love yourself and you'll be okay.
Don't stop loving yourself. And take that as you wish. Eat a calzone. Eat a spinach calzone sometime this week. Nerdiverse. Do it. Be safe out there. Be mindful of your surroundings. Wear a damn mask.
Yeah, no shit. Wear a mask, people. Like, please do that.
Just wear a mask. Don't be stupid. Wear a mask. I mean, if you're in your car, no, leave the mask off. But if you have to physically walk into any building and be around humans on any level, wear a mask. It doesn't even have to be one of those awkward medical masks. Just put on like a ninja mask or something. Put on a mask. Please. Save a life.
Don't show me your face. Don't show me your teeth.
I don't want to see your face. I don't want to see your lips.
Exactly.
I don't want to see them. It upsets the Michael. And with that, I would like to say, if you want to support this channel monetarily, you can always do so by visiting our Patreon, which is patreon.com/MOTN, where you can give us money and we will push it into the little money slot that all podcasts get when they launch. And it'll make the podcast grow like an afro. But if you want to support us non-monetarily, you can always do that by liking our content, by subscribing to our channels, and by commenting on our episodes. Because feedback's important. How are we doing? Are we doing great? Do we suck? I need to know so we can better well-oil this machine. And if this is your first time listening to our show, I would like to say hello and welcome to the Nerdiverse. I've, of course, been your host, Mike G.
And I'm Austin.
And we will always ask you to take that one step beyond.